Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Explore and Engage with Anam. The rapid rise of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in Democrat politics shows that the people on the left continue to separate themselves from logic and reason. Anyone who advocates for socialism must be rejected. We must reject socialism. AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, is a socialist. But many people on the left continue to support her. They continue to support her viewpoints, and they continue to support socialism. And that is very, very problematic. Now, the purpose of this podcast episode is not to do a lecture on socialism, but I hope that people understand that socialism teaches that government should own and control the means of production. And that is a very, very dangerous idea. My friends, people who believe in freedom also wish to see a successful private sector in an economy. And when we have a sound economy, then people are willing to take risks, they are willing to invest, they want to start businesses, they want to create jobs, they want to produce excellent products and services, they want to compete in the market, and businesses want to grow and thrive and expand. And that is what happens in a free market economy. But if you have a massive government taking control of the resources needed to produce output in society, then that society can never succeed. That economy can never succeed. And we have seen from history how socialism causes pain and suffering. Socialism leads to pain and suffering. Socialist structures have collapsed. And yet, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez supports socialism. Socialism means that there's going to be a massive government, a gigantic bureaucracy, and red tape. Socialism means that people's freedom will be diminished and eventually eliminated. There's not going to be any freedom if there is socialism. And in socialism, the government acts as the supreme force, the supreme authority. Socialism and freedom cannot coexist. You can either choose freedom or you can choose socialism. If you want a free society, you must reject socialism. And if you embrace socialism, then freedom cannot exist. My friends, here in the United States, we want a free society. Although we have seen over a period of many years that the footprint of government has grown, but that is changing now. The size of the federal bureaucracy is being reduced. And the smaller the government, the greater the freedom. So AOC is a staunch supporter of socialism. In fact, she is the driving force of the movement that seeks to implement socialist policies in society. And these policies on paper may sound nice to some people. I say that socialist policies are horrible. I've made it very clear. But to some people, when they read about socialist policies on paper, it sounds nice to them for whatever reason. But the reality is that the policies that AOC supports, those policies, if implemented, would transform the society in an extremely negative way. So what are some socialist policies that some people tend to support? Medicare for all. That's the socialist policy. And that is something that AOC advocates for. And that is something that a lot of people support. Medicare for all. A socialist policy. It may sound great. Like I said, to some people it sounds great when you read about it on paper. Medicare for all. It sounds like, oh, the world's going to be such a great place if there's Medicare for all. But in reality, this is a very bad policy. If Medicare for all is implemented, then freedom will be diminished. Choice will be eliminated. Medicare for all basically means that the entire healthcare system would be handed over to government bureaucrats, and then they will run things however they want. There's not going to be any choice. There will be no options. There will be no way for people to express their will. If Medicare for all is implemented, then government will make all decisions, and each of those decisions will impact the lives of the American people. So, Medicare for all, some might say, oh, it sounds great. But in reality, it is going to be a disaster. And then there's the Green New Deal. That's a big disaster. A horrible idea, the Green New Deal that AOC supports. Thankfully, the Green New Deal will never become a reality as long as logic and reason prevail in society. But if someone like AOC gains more political power than she has now, she will try to make the Green New Deal a reality. And if it becomes a reality, it is going to be a complete disaster. Freedom-loving people must reject Green New Deal. Let's talk about Second Amendment rights. If AOC gains more political power, people's Second Amendment rights will be significantly restricted or completely abolished. And that is why the American people must reject AOC and her socialist viewpoints. And here's another one. AOC supports creating a pathway to citizenship for all illegal immigrants. Unbelievable. But this is what AOC supports. She supports creating a pathway to U.S. citizenship for all illegal immigrants. So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the kind of political figure who should never be elevated to a higher position. And it seems that the Democrat Party is embracing AOC's viewpoints, and they may elevate AOC to a higher position of power. The Democrat Party is heading in the direction of socialism, which is why AOC seems to be gaining more power in the Democrat Party. And AOC seems to be gaining momentum in the Democrat Party as we head towards 2026 and eventually 2028. My friends, if you have been following the latest news and updates, then I think you would know already. If you don't, then I'm going to tell you now. Here's what's going on. Some people in the Democrat Party are looking at Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as a presidential candidate for 2028. Unbelievable. What did I tell you just moments ago? We must reject socialism. And AOC supports socialism. And AOC is gaining momentum in the Democrat Party. And some people think that she could be a presidential candidate for 2028. I think that moderate viewpoints are becoming extinct in the Democrat Party. Logic and reason have no place in the Democrat Party, which is why AOC is gaining more popularity among the Democrats. Let me tell you something that is going on in AOC's congressional district. There's widespread crime, gang crimes, drug trafficking, and many other public safety issues. And this is happening in New York, in Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's district, in AOC's district. And people are suffering because of the crime problem. And reportedly, residents from Queens, New York, have been asking the FBI and the DEA for help. So, what's going on in AOC's district? AOC's district is in a complete mess. And while all these problems are going on, AOC is spending time doing the Fighting Oligarchy tour. The name of this tour that she is doing with Bernie Sanders, it's the Fighting Oligarchy tour. But that title, that name is actually quite misleading because there's no oligarchy in America. But socialists like AOC and Bernie Sanders claim that there's oligarchy, and they pretend like they are fighting oligarchy. They want to fight oligarchy. So that title is misleading because there's no oligarchy in this country. We have a president elected by the will of the people. Donald J. Trump, he's our president, elected by the will of the people. He got overwhelming support in the November 2024 election, Donald J. Trump. He won the popular vote, he won the Electoral College vote. But as we have seen before, the Democrats are trying to disregard the legitimacy of this new administration. And the Democrats are trying to spread lies about President Trump. So AOC is busy showing the world that she wants to fight oligarchy when there's no oligarchy in America. There are Democrat voters, unfortunately, there are Democrat voters who believe the things that AOC says. As I told you, the Democrats and many Democrat voters, the Democrat political figures, the Democrat activists, people on the left, they have separated themselves from logic and reason. And so they believe the things that AOC says. And many of these people on the left, they are considering supporting AOC as the next Democrat presidential candidate. They want to see AOC as the Democrat presidential nominee. But then there are others who believe that AOC might run for U.S. Senate in New York. Maybe she will, maybe she won't. Depends on whether or not Chuck Schumer seeks re-election in 2028. Is Chuck Schumer going to seek re-election? I don't know. Chuck Schumer is the incumbent senator, one of two senators, Chuck Schumer, and then there's Kirsten Gillibrand. And I think that if AOC decides to challenge an incumbent Democrat senator, it's going to be Chuck Schumer who she will challenge. I don't think it'll be Kirsten Gillibrand. And Senator Gillibrand just got reelected in 2024, so the next time that she will be up for re-election is going to be 2030. But Chuck Schumer will be up for re-election in 2028. I think it'll be one or the other. Either AOC runs for president or she runs for U.S. Senate. And if she runs for U.S. Senate, I think she is going to run for the seat that Senator Chuck Schumer now has. And it's alarming to see that there are Democrat voters who have decided to abandon the policies and principles of reality and have decided to pursue the destructive policies of socialism. And that is how AOC has gained momentum in the Democrat Party. Now let's talk about AOC's favorability rating. Now I have said that there are people on the left who are supporting AOC, who trust AOC, who support AOC's policies. There are people on the left who want to see Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as the Democrat presidential nominee. But let's talk about the overall favorability rating that AOC has. A Gallup poll. Okay, this is going to be interesting, so listen to me, my friends. A Gallup poll conducted between January 21 and January 27 show that AOC has only 30% favorability rating, only 30%. And her unfavorability rating is 40%. Wow. That is not good for AOC. It's not looking good. She is viewed highly unfavorably. And she's a young member of Congress. She's fairly young. So if she is viewed so unfavorably at this stage of her political career, then one might say that she has no prospect for growth in her political career. So even if AOC somehow manages to become the presidential nominee, the Democrat presidential nominee in 2028, she is likely not going to win the presidency. Now, some of the people out there listening to me right now might say, "Oh, Tassif, it's too early to tell. How can you make a prediction like that? It's too early to tell." Well, yeah, I understand it's too early. And I'm not making predictions. But using my best judgment, I can say that if the Democrats choose AOC as their presidential nominee, then the Democrat Party is really going to be accelerating its own downfall. The party will be accelerating its own downfall if the party chooses AOC as the presidential nominee for 2028. And in 2028, it might be the year that the Democrats face a truly gigantic, a truly massive political collapse. I know that the Democrats are now looking at 2026 to win back the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives, but that will likely not happen. I believe that the Republicans will hold on to the majority in the U.S. Senate and the majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. The Republicans are solid. They are doing pretty good. So I think that the Republicans will hold on to the Senate majority in 2026, in the midterm. I think we will continue to be, we meaning the Republicans, I'm a proud Republican, I think we will continue to be the majority in the House also. So the Democrats might be dreaming about victory in 2026, but the Democrats may end up being very, very disappointed. So let's see what happens going forward. Is AOC going to climb the ladder of political power in the Democrat Party? in spite of being very, very unpopular overall. Which way will the Democrat Party go? Is the Democrat Party going to go further and further to the left? Or will they try to do damage control and try to pursue more moderate policies? I don't know. We have to wait and see, my friends. We have to wait and see. So I want to hear your thoughts. Please share with me your thoughts. I know people listening to me, a lot of you agree with my viewpoints. A lot of you don't. That's fine. I've said this many times in my life so far, that I believe in dialogue. I believe in constructive conversation. I believe in discussion. We must freely share our views and opinions. So if you agree with me, let me know. Get in touch with me. Let me know that, Toss, if I agree with what you just said. If you don't agree with me, let me know that as well. If you don't agree with me, I want to hear from you why you don't agree with me. And maybe you agree with some of the things I have said, but not others. In any case, get in touch with me. Reach out. You can go to my website, tossifanam.net. You can send me a message through my website. You can also email me. My email address is tossif@tossifanam.net. You can also find me on social media. I'm very active on social media. You can find me on Facebook. Connect with me on Facebook. Send me a message. You can find me on Instagram. Connect with me on Instagram. And if you use X, formerly known as Twitter, find me on X and share with me your thoughts. Send me a comment. And Truth Social. I'm also on Truth Social. So if you like using Truth Social, get in touch with me, connect with me, and share with me your thoughts. My friends, thank you once again for continuing to listen to my podcast. I truly appreciate it. And I hope to be back again very soon. Very soon. I'll be back again with more commentary. And I'll be back to share more viewpoints on a wide variety of issues. So stay connected with me. And I'll be back again soon with a new episode of Explore and Engage with Anam.